हेलो, हाय एवरीवन, आई होप यू ऑल आर डूइंग गुड। सो जैसे आप सबको पता है कि इन आवर प्रीवियस वीडियो वी स्टार्टेड विद लॉ ऑफ टॉट्स, जिसमें मैंने कुछ बेसिक सी चीजें लॉ ऑफ टॉट्स के बारे में बताई, इंक्लूडिंग द डेफिनेशन ऑफ टॉट्स एंड हाउ इज इंटेंशन इंपॉर्टेंट इन टॉट्स, वेदर इंटेंशन इज इंपॉर्टेंट इन टॉट्स और नॉट, राइट? All these things were told to you guys in the previous class. Apart from that, I told you the meanings of what is meanings and the differences between what is damage, what is damages, what kind of damages are there, right? What is the difference between tort and tort and breach of contract and breach of trust, right? So now we will be moving ahead and we will be starting with general defenses in law of torts. तो अभी तक हमें एक चीज पता है कि हर एक लॉ में कुछ जनरल डिफेंसेस होते हैं. नाउ व्हाट आर जनरल डिफेंसेस एंड व्हाट काइंड ऑफ जनरल डिफेंसेस आर देयर इन द लॉ ऑफ टॉर्ट्स इज व्हाट we are going to discuss in this class. So let's just start. Starting with what are general defenses, right? Starting with what are general defenses. So here it is. Let's just read the definition of general defenses and let's just see what they are. So defenses are those contentions which persuade the judge that the respondent is not liable of the demonstration that he is being blamed for conferring. Safeguard can be characterized as those contentions that can be utilized to escape obligation. तो वो circumstances जहां पे आपकी liability बन रही है, फिर भी you can be excused from the charges or your charges can be brought down to minimal are known as general defenses. Right? Now, what is a tort? We all know that. A tort refers to a civil wrong committed against an individual that violates their legal rights. Right? The act's perpetrators is referred to as the tortfeasor. The person who commits a tort is known as a tortfeasor. Right? In the event that the defendant is found to have committed the tort, the plaintiff is entitled to damage as compensation for the infringement of the legal right. कि अगर कहीं ना कहीं ये प्रूव हो जाता है कि आपने किसी की लीगल राइट इन्फ्रिंज करी है, देन यू विल हैव टू कॉम्पनसेट दैट पर्सन एंड कॉम्पनसेशन इज द ओनली रेमेडी विच इज अवेलेबल इन टॉर्ट्स. नॉट द ओनली रेमेडी बट द मेजर रेमेडी विच इज अवेलेबल इन लॉ ऑफ टॉर्ट्स. राइट? नाउ using a defense, the defendant might avoid paying damages for violating someone else's legal right by absolving him of the tort's guilt. Right? Now, I hope this is clear to everyone. So this slide just tells us what are general defenses. It just defines general defenses. Apart from that, it again defines what is tort. So whatever we did in the previous class, I believe वो सबका revise हो चुका होगा. Right? Now, moving ahead. Let's just talk about the two kinds of defenses. So first thing first, we have special defenses and then we have general defenses. What are special defenses? These defenses are limited to a certain category of torts. ठीक है? An illustration is that truth is an exceptional defense for the tort of defamation. कि अगर आप किसी के बारे में कोई ट्रूथफुल चीज बोल रहे हो, आप सच बोल रहे हो, no matter how derogatory it may be, it is not considered as you defaming the person. Right? So this is a specific exception for the law of torts when it comes to defamation. Right? अब हमारे general defenses पे. General defenses वो defenses होते हैं which are available under all areas of torts law. Right? The general defenses available under torts law are the following which we are going to discuss. तो specific वो जो किसी एक specific tort के लिए या कुछ specific set of torts के लिए use होते हैं, whereas there are general defenses जो सब torts के लिए in general हम use कर सकते हैं in order to abstain from the liability. Right? Now, let's just start with the first one. So the first one is volanti non-fit injuria. Volanti non-fit injuria. चाइनीज लग रही है या ग्रीक लग रही है? अभी तक तो मैक्सिम्स की आदत पड़ जानी चाहिए ना. राइट? सो ये एक लीगल मैक्सिम है जिसका मतलब होता है to one who is willing, no harm is done. To one who is willing, no harm is done, right? I'll give you a classic example here. Let's say this is a man who's standing. I'm so sorry about my drawing skills, but they are like that, right? And there is a building here, right? On the 5th floor of the building, there is a balcony and the entire building is on fire, right? The entire building is on fire. So here the man sees that a woman is standing and she is crying for help, right? So this man, being a gentleman, he goes up the stairs and he saves this woman and brings her back. So after bringing this woman back, this man sees that his entire arm is bruised and he has suffered a few more injuries as well. So now this man, when he goes to the hospital, he gets this big list of expenses that he gets, right? अब इतने expenses देखने के बाद this man got infuriated कि भाई मैं तो मदद करने गया था, मैं क्यों अपना पैसा खर्च करूं ऐसे, right? So this man went to the court and he asked the court that please, मैंने इस lady की मदद करी जाके, I want this lady to compensate for my medical expenses. कि मैंने मदद करी, now this lady should help me in return and she should compensate all the medical expenses. Now, the court here will say, did you do this willingly? अगर आपने willingly जाके किसी की मदद करी है, that too after knowing कि उस मदद को करते दौरान आपको कोई ना कोई चोट लग सकती है, राइट? तो आप बाद में आके इस लेडी को ये थोड़ा ना बोलोगे कि लाओ मुझे मेडिकल एक्सपेंसेस दो, क्यों? क्योंकि आप विलिंगली गए थे, आपका कंसेंट था वहां पे, राइट? मोर ओवर यू हैड द नॉलेज कि आपको कहीं ना कहीं इंजरी हो सकती है, राइट? सो दिस इज नोन एज वॉलंटारी नॉन फिट इंजूरिया, राइट? तो इंग्लिश में एक मुहावरा है, आ बैल मुझे मार, ऐसे याद रखना, वॉलंटारी नॉन फिट इंजूरिया, ठीक है? आ बैल मुझे मार इज voluntary non-fit injuria. So you need to understand it here that consent is typically used in reference to the deliberate torts and voluntary non-fit injuria in regards to carelessness. Nonetheless, the more accepted word of today is voluntary assumption of risk, right? So wherever there is voluntary assumption of risk and the person has voluntarily taken that risk on him, he cannot file a suit against anybody else, right? Now, consent and intentional torts, ये समझना जरूरी है. Consent may be implied. Implied क्या होता है? Which is not readily expressed, right? That is implied consent as well as expressed in the word so that the defendant escapes liability if he was justified in inferring that the claimant consented even though secretly he did not, right? अब एक चीज समझो कि कई कबार consent का हमें एक चीज समझ आनी चाहिए, consent is both expressed as well as implied. तो कहीं से भी अगर implied consent भी है, even then this case of voluntary non-fit injuria is satisfied, right? So consent may be implied as well as expressed in words so that the defendant escapes liability if he was justified in inferring that the claimant consented even though secretly he did not. So agar by the actions or by any XYZ act of the claimant, the defendant proves that okay, this person had already consented to what he was doing, there will be a fit case of voluntary non-fit injuria. जैसे इस केस में this man did not say anything that okay, I'll go and save the woman or I'll do something, right? He simply went and he saved the woman. So यहाँ पे एक implied consent है कि उसको पता था कि वो जल सकता है, फिर भी जाके उसने मदद करी, right? So this is implied consent, right? I hope this is clear. I hope voluntary non-fit injuria is clear to everyone. Now we shall be moving ahead and we will be discussing the essentials of voluntary non-fit injuria. पहला essential जो हमारे पास है वो है consent. As we all know, but the consent should be freely given. By freely I mean to say that there should be the will of the person who is giving such a consent, right? So a man cannot be said to be truly willing unless he is in a position to choose freely, and freedom of choice predicates not only full knowledge of the circumstances on which the exercise of choice is conditional, so that he may be able to choose wisely, but the absence of any feeling of constraint so that nothing shall interfere with the freedom of his will. So जहाँ पे आपने consent दिया हुआ है without any दबाव, without any constraint on you, that is known as free consent, right? Now, consent and the standard of care. Second point is consent and the standard of care. Now, what do we mean by standard of care, and how do we see it in eyes with, how do we see it in par with consent? क्या ज़्यादा important है? Consent and the standard of care. The main point here is that if somebody has been given consent to a certain level but has not given him complete consent, ठीक है? Now, for example, let's say there is A goes to the hospital for getting his appendix operated, right? He goes to a hospital to get his appendix operated, and this Dr. B who was supposed to operate his appendix rather removes A's kidney. Said that A had already consented to removal of kidney. A did not consent to the removal of kidney, right? A merely consented to the operation of his appendix. Hence, अगर इस operation के बाद उसको पता चलता है कि उसकी kidney remove हुई है, he can sue the doctor and the hospital under law of torts, and यहाँ पे the hospital cannot take the defense of voluntary non-fit injuria. Right? I hope it is clear. So, ये चीज याद रखना कि if somebody has been given consent to a certain level, it does not mean that he has given complete consent. I hope that is clear to everyone. I hope that is clear to everyone. Now, moving ahead, second हमारा जो general defense है. So the first defense was voluntary non-fit injuria, जो मैंने अभी complete किया है. Now we are moving ahead to the second one, which is act of God or vis major. Right? अब मुझे ये बताओ कि क्या सबने एक बहुत famous Indian movie है वो देखी है? क्या सबने एक famous movie है वो देखी है? अच्छा, चलो जिसको नाम नहीं याद आ रहा, वो movie का नाम ना comment section में comment करना. Right? So that movie has 2 sequels to it. Right? आपने वो movie का नाम ना यहाँ पे quote करना है और उसमें specifically words use हुए हैं act of God. Right? Now, let's just see what actually act of God is. So act of God को law में हम लोग बोलते हैं vis major. Right? So when an injury is caused directly by natural causes without the interference of humans, in circumstances which no human foresight can provide against, and of which human prudence is not bound to recognize the possibility, the defense of act of God applies. तो वो circumstances जो एक normal human being probably guess नहीं कर सकता, right? And due to the results, direct results of such an unforeseen event, some injury happens to something, that is known as act of God. अब यहाँ पे एक illustration है, let's just read it. Let's say that there is a railway track. There is a pile of dry hay left on the side of it. Dry hay is जो सूखा भूसा रह जाता है, उसको हम बोलते हैं dry hay. On the side of it. Due to spark from the railway track, the pile of the hay catches fire. Due to a huge gust of wind in an otherwise non-windy area, very important, in an otherwise non-windy area, the pile of ignited hay flies away and a house about 1 kilometer away from the railway track catches fire. The defense of the act of God will be applicable here. Why? Because एक तो natural forces involved है. What is wind? It is a natural force, right? Moreover, ऐसी circumstances जो otherwise हम guess ही नहीं कर सकते थे. क्यों? क्योंकि उस एरिया में हवाएं नहीं चलती थी, ज्यादा विंड नहीं होती थी. Moreover, ट्रेन जो रेलवे ट्रैक है वो तो कितने टाइम से वहीं रहा होगा ना, राइट? तब तक तो कभी भी आग नहीं लगी, अब एकदम से आग लग गई, राइट? So it was an unforeseen event that happened, right? So here, applicable here, because even though the pile of the hay was negligently left there, the fact that in an area that is never windy, a gust of wind so strong would blow that a house 1 kilometer away would catch fire from the ignited hay could have never been predicted. Hence, this is a fit case of vis major, right? Chalo. So next we have is inevitable accident. अभी हमने विस मेजर या एक्ट ऑफ गॉड कंप्लीट करा. नाउ वी आर मूविंग अहेड टू इनएविटेबल एक्सीडेंट. सबसे पहले जो वर्ड हमारे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है वो है एक्सीडेंट. तो एक्सीडेंट में कभी किसी का इंटेंशन नहीं होता, ठीक है? इनएविटेबल का मतलब जो चीज हम लोग रोक नहीं सकते. इनएविटेबल एक्सीडेंट. Now, inevitable accident is an accident that could not have been avoided by a reasonable man at the moment at which it occurred. Right? तो जिस टाइम पे वो इवेंट हुआ वो किसी भी इंसान से रोका नहीं जा सकता था. Now most of the students will tell me, मैम यही सेम चीज तो एक्ट ऑफ गॉड में होती है. तो फिर एक्ट ऑफ गॉड और इनएविटेबल एक्सीडेंट में क्या डिफरेंस है? द ओनली डिफरेंस हियर इज कि एक्ट ऑफ गॉड में नेचुरल फोर्सेस are in action, right? Natural forces are in action, right? But act of God is something which is specifically related to natural forces. But here, inevitable accident में human actions can lead to such a defense, right? Let's see. If you're driving on a road and suddenly an animal runs in front of your car and you hit the animal, another person sitting in the passenger seat is also injured. He decides to sue you. Then the defense of inevitable accident would be applicable because you could not have foreseen that the animal will run onto the road out of nowhere, right? I hope that is clear. आपको ये मत बोलना कि मैम एक all of a sudden एक जानवर भाग के आ गया, ये भी तो act of God, ये act of God नहीं है, right? Because natural forces involved नहीं है यहाँ पे, right? Now we'll move ahead and we'll do the fourth one. So the fourth one says plaintiff the wrongdoer. तो plaintiff कौन होता है? Who takes the plaint to the court. What is a plaint? Plaint is another name for complaint in civil laws, right? तो जब plaintiff is himself the wrongdoer, let's see what it is. So a plaintiff is not disabled from recovering by reason of being himself a wrongdoer unless some lawful act or conduct on his own part is connected with the harm suffered by him as a part of the same transaction. अब एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल दूंगी. This is X. He is driving negligently. Right? Now this person is driving negligently. Right? Now, from this side there is a man who is there is a man who is walking on the road when the light is green. Right? So there is a man coming from the opposite side of the road. This is Y, who's coming from the opposite side of the road, and he is walking while the light is green. राइट तो अब x तो नेग्लिजेंटली चलो ड्राइव कर ही रहा है, वो ओवर स्पीडिंग कर रहा है. y जो है दूसरी साइड से आ रहा है व्हेन द लाइट इज ग्रीन फॉर x. ठीक है, इन दोनों की टक्कर हो जाती है जिसकी वजह से y सफर्स इंजरीज. नाउ y गोज टू द कोर्ट एंड सेज कि x तो देखो नेग्लिजेंटली ड्राइव कर रहा था इसलिए मुझे बहुत ज्यादा चोटें लगी, सो x शुड कॉम्पनसेट मी फॉर द इंजरीज दैट आई हैव एक्चुअली इनकर्ड. सो हियर द कोर्ट विल से कि चलो हम मानते हैं कि X ड्राइव कर रहा था नेग्लिजेंटली, राइट? बट आप खुद भी तो यहाँ पे रोड क्रॉस कर रहे थे जब लाइट स्क्रीन थी, राइट? व्हेन यू वर नॉट अलाउड टू डू सो, राइट? तो यहाँ पे इट विल बी अ केस ऑफ प्लेंटिफ द रॉन्ग डूअर, राइट? बिकॉज इन ऑर्डर अब कुछ स्टूडेंट्स हमें यहाँ पे कहेंगे कि मैम ये केस तो कहीं ना कहीं कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटरी नेग्लिजेंस का भी होता है। अग्रीड, कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटरी नेग्लिजेंस है यहाँ पे, बट क्या यहाँ पे नेग्लिजेंस है? नहीं। नेग्लिजेंस और कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटरी नेग्लिजेंस में द अमाउंट ऑफ कॉम्पनसेशन दैट विल बी अवॉर्डेड उसमें डिफरेंस आएगा। वैसे ही डिफेंसेस का मतलब ये नहीं होता कि सारी ऑब्लिगेशन ही गायब हो जाती है, हो भी सकती है डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द केस, बट कहीं ना कहीं जो आपकी ऑब्लिगेशन है, ये जो अमाउंट ऑफ कॉम्पनसेशन है वो रिड्यूस हो जाएगा, राइट? दैट इज द मेन पर्पस ऑफ defenses, right? Now here are the facts for Bird versus Holbrook, right? So what happened in this case? So facts were that the plaintiff was a spectator at a motor car race organized by the defendant club, right? During the race, two cars collided and crashed into the spectator's stand, injuring the plaintiff. ठीक है, let's say एक इंसान है, वो रेस देखने गया, ठीक है, एंड रेस के दौरान दो कार्स कोलाइड हुई, जिसकी वजह से एक उनकी तरफ क्रैश होते हुए आई, जिसकी वजह से उसको प्लेंटिफ को बहुत ज्यादा चोटें आई। नाउ व्हाट वाज द इशू हियर? कुड द ऑर्गेनाइजर्स बी हेल्ड लायबल फॉर नेग्लिजेंस व्हेन द प्लेंटिफ वॉलंटरली अटेंडेड नोइंग द रिस्क? द जजमेंट हियर सेड दैट द कोर्ट हेल्ड द स्पेक्टेटर्स voluntarily consented to the ordinary risk inherent in such a sport. Since there was no negligence by the organizers, the defense of voluntary non-fit injuria applied. The plaintiff's claim was dismissed. ठीक है, अब यहाँ पे though the plaintiff did not do something wrong, plaintiff ने कुछ गलत नहीं किया, rather he consented to watch the entire race, right? तो यहाँ पे voluntary non-fit injuria बनता है। यहाँ पे हम ये नहीं कहेंगे that plaintiff was the wrongdoer, plaintiff ने कोई गलत काम नहीं किया, right? I hope it is clear। तो यहाँ voluntary non-fit injuria बनेगा, plaintiff the wrongdoer नहीं बनेगा। Is that clear? Now, moving ahead to the fifth one, which is mistake। अब सब मुझे बोलेंगे मैम mistake का मतलब होता है गलती, तो गलती तो चलो माफ हो ही जाती है, बट कौन सी गलती माफ होती है? किस गलती को हम लोग एक्चुअल में कहेंगे कि हाँ ठीक है इसे माफ कर दो? जजेस भी इंसान है, कैसे माफ करेंगे? What are the criterias? We need to understand that, right? So now, mistake. There are many torts in which the liability hangs upon whether a person would have done what the defendant did, and the mistake becomes relevant there because a person might make one and yet be behaving reasonably. For example, in false imprisonment, right, the defendant may be able to escape the liability if he can show that he had reasonable cause to believe that the claimant was guilty of an offense. ठीक है, अब जहां पे आपने किसी को कैद करके रखा है, that too without any reason, अगर आप वहां पे ये प्रूव कर देते हो that I believed that I had a reason to imprison this person, but मुझसे गलती हो गई, this will be a fit case of mistake, right? So special cases in which mistake is a good defense. Number one, when an innocent man is prosecuted, it is not in itself an actionable wrong, as this would prevent the administration of criminal law. A prosecution incurs no liability unless he acted both maliciously and without reasonable care. ठीक है, अगर हम किसी इनोसेंट मैन को राइट प्रोसिक्यूट कर रहे हैं, राइट उस पे केस चला रहे हैं, सो यहाँ पे द एक्शन इज इट इज इटसेल्फ नॉट एक्शनेबल रॉन्ग, राइट, रादर it will as this would prevent the administration of criminal law, rather a prosecution incurs no liability unless he acted both maliciously and without reasonable care. अब जो prosecution है right, वो तब तक नहीं लायबल होगा जब तक ये प्रूव नहीं होता कि उसने या तो रीजनेबल केयर नहीं रखी थी या फिर उसने मैलिशियसली यानी कि गलत तरीके से एक्ट किया, right? Now, so the mistaken arrest of an innocent man on suspicion of felony is not actionable if the felony was actually being committed and there is reasonable ground to believe that the person arrested is guilty of committing it. Last thing, mistake is always a defense where the plaintiff must prove malice. Malice का मतलब ill will of the person, right? तो यहाँ पे it is the duty of the plaintiff to prove that the defendant had some malice in the entire transaction, right? Now let's just move on to the sixth defense, जो कि हम सबको पता है इसके बारे में, which is private defense. Again, there was a case law जिसपे एक मूवी बनी थी रुस्तम, right? उस मूवी से ना बहुत सारे लोगों को प्राइवेट डिफेंस के बारे में समझ आया, right? Now let's see what is private defense. The aim of this defense is usually for self-help and self-protection. According to the Indian law, every person has the right to protect himself and his properties. He also has the right to protect someone else and someone else's property. Section 96 of the Indian Penal Code says that nothing is an offense when it is done in exercise of the right of private defense. Right? Protected devices against trespassers. Let's say कि there are many houses जहाँ पे spring guns लगी होती हैं, जिन्होंने बहुत बड़े बड़े dogs रखे होते हैं just to guard their houses. अब उस केस में क्या अगर किसी को इंजरीज आ जाती हैं just because of those devices or because of those dogs, क्या यहाँ पे ओनर्स जो हैं वो ये डिफेंस ले सकते हैं कि ये तो प्राइवेट डिफेंस था? Let's see that. So a person is entitled to expel a trespasser if necessary, even forcibly remove him from his property. The law allows a person to resort to a reasonable degree of force. Important for you guys is reasonable degree of force to protect himself from an unlawful use of force. He cannot use force greater than the threat that he is facing. Let's say there is a trespasser who is unarmed, right, and he tries to enter your house just to ask you that क्या वो सही जगह पे खड़ा है, क्या उसे एड्रेस सही है वो जहाँ पे आया है, right? You being a very strict owner, you simply leave your dogs at him, right? And dogs जाके उसको बाइट कर लेते हैं. क्या यहाँ पे आपकी लाइबिलिटी बनेगी या आप ये डिफेंस ले सकते हो मेरा तो प्राइवेट डिफेंस, आई हैव द राइट टू प्रोटेक्ट माय प्रॉपर्टी? आप नहीं ले सकते ये डिफेंस. व्हाई? बिकॉज ही merely came in to ask you about the address, right? He had no other intentions. Moreover, there was nothing wrong that he did, right? So here what you did was way too harmful than the harm that was inflicted upon you. So वो बैलेंस ऑफ हार्म होना बहुत जरूरी है जब भी आप प्राइवेट डिफेंस यूज कर रहे हो, राइट? आई होप दैट इज क्लियर. The next one is necessity. Now what do we mean by necessity? Necessity का मतलब होता है, see, necessity का मतलब होता है जरूरत, और जरूरत लॉ में कहाँ पड़ती है? The maxiom says salus populi suprema lex, which means that the welfare of the people is supreme law, right? So necessity is a defense whose principal significance is in the relation to the torts of interference or trespass. Necessity cannot justify negligence in the sense of lack of care. अब क्या क्या यहाँ पे essentials होने चाहिए for a necessity? Number one, actual or apparent danger to the public interest. Second, danger was real and imminent, right? Third, to protect public interest. And last, defendant was not at fault for creating the danger. ठीक है? Now, I'll give you an example here. This is A. He is driving his car. राइट? एंड वो जैसे ही ना, ये एक राउंड अबाउट है, ठीक है? वो जैसे ही राउंड अबाउट के पास आता है, he realizes that the brakes of the car are not working. Brakes are not working. He realizes that. Now he has only two options. Either he turns his car towards the right side, but right side से ना ट्रैफिक आ रहा है, and he sees अगर ये कार राइट साइड को मोड़ेगा तो यहाँ पे 7-8 एक्टिवाज हैं, ये इन सबको मारता हुआ जाएगा, जिसकी वजह से 7-8 लोग इंजर हो जाएंगे, राइट? एंड इफ ही टर्न्स टुवर्ड्स द राइट हैंड साइड, तो यहाँ पे अगर वो राइट हैंड साइड को टर्न करेगा, देयर इज दिस एक्टिवा ड्राइवर हु इज स्टैंडिंग देयर एंड देयर आर 2 पीपल ऑन द एक्टिवा, राइट? तो यहाँ पे 2 लोगों की इंजरी होगी. सो इन ऑर्डर टू सेव, एंड अगर वो सीधा सामने जाता है तो ही विल बैंग हिज कार इनटू अ बिग पोल जिस पे लाइट्स लगी हुई हैं, एंड अगर ये पोल गिरता है तो यहाँ पे जितने भी लोग हैं, यहाँ पे लेट्स से देयर आर 10 कार्स स्टैंडिंग हियर, सबके ऊपर वो लाइट्स गिर जाएंगी एंड देयर विल बी अ लॉट ऑफ डैमेज. सो सिंपली ही डिसाइड्स कि मैं राइट जाऊंगा क्योंकि 2 लोगों को सिर्फ यहाँ पे इंजरीज हो रही है. राइट नाउ ही टर्न्स हिज कार राइट एंड ही इंजर्स दीज 2 पीपल. ये 2 लोग आ जाते हैं अपने लिए कॉम्पनसेशन मांगने इन द कोर्ट. सो यहाँ पे A can claim this defense of necessity. Why? Because यहाँ पे एक तो actual और apparent, एक actual danger था to the public interest. Secondly, the danger was real and it was imminent. Imminent means something which is sudden, right? Something which is sudden. Next, to protect the public interest. Public interest को यानी कि लोगों की जान बचाने के लिए, moreover, the defendant was not at fault for creating the danger. Defendant की यहाँ गलती नहीं थी, उसकी कार की brakes fail हुई है, right? Hence, this will be a fit case of necessity. I hope it is clear to everyone. Next we have is statutory authority. Now, what do we mean by a statute? Statute means a law. Authority means somebody who has been authorized by law to do something or not to do something, right? So when there is a power given to somebody by a statutory authority and the person with the power given to them applies that to do some act that is usually otherwise tortious, then this defense is applicable. But this does not mean that the power can be mistaken as immunity of committing of any otherwise unnecessary harm to somebody. ठीक है? अब search और seizure. Search and seizure. अगर search warrant है, right? और पुलिस आके आपके घर में सर्च कर रही है, तो क्या आप वहां पे जाके पुलिस को सू कर सकते हो? नहीं कर सकते. Why? Because police will definitely say कि we have the statutory authority to do so, right? Moreover, कोई भी ऐसा लॉ जो अथॉरिटी देता है किसी भी इंडिविजुअल को, किसी भी अथॉरिटी को to do something which otherwise would be a tort, वहां पे आपको एक चीज ध्यान रखनी है, वहां पे there will be a defense of statutory authority that the other person will have, right? I hope that is clear. Now, next is parental and quasi-parental authorities. So, parents of a person in loco parentis may, for the purpose of correcting what is evil in the child, inflict moderate and reasonable corporal punishment. However, this punishment should be moderate and reasonable. अगर एक बच्चे को मम्मा ने थप्पड़ मार दिया just because that child was abusing his younger brother, the child cannot sue his mother for causing assault or battery at him, right? Just because this is allowed, right? I hope this is clear. Parental and quasi-parental authorities is clear to everyone. So yeah, that was it for today, right? I hope all the general defenses are clear to everyone. अगर कोई भी प्रॉब्लम है, कोई भी सोल्यूशन नहीं समझ आ रहा है, कोई भी चीज नहीं समझ आई है in today's video or out of the videos that I made earlier, so please do comment down in the comment section below and I will be helping you guys. So with this, I'll rest it here and I shall see you in the next class. Bye bye. See you.